Hello and welcome to AOH Digital Literacy for All, brought to you by MonTogo.net YouTube channel. My name is Dominique Adabi and I'm your host. The topic of our video today is how to create a data entry form in Excel using macros. But before we start, I would like to remind you, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. A macro is a set of instructions you give to Excel so that what you're doing on your screen can be recorded and be played back later. This is an ideal solution for when you're performing repetitive tasks like data entry. Normally what most of us do, we just create a plain table and then we just fill in one by one, like first name, last name, position, and so on. This is fine. However, it takes so long and there is more possibilities to make mistakes. In this video today, I'm going to show you how we can enter data into Excel easily, quickly, with less possibilities to make mistakes. So to start, we will create a form. And on the form, we will have information like first name, last name, department, entry date. And once we have our form created, we'll also create a database table. And the database table will have the same headings as our form. And once we have both sheets open, we will record a macro. And that macro will be linked to our form with a button. And next time someone click on that button, the information entered in the form will automatically be stored in our database table. Without further ado, I'm going to turn to my computer and start the presentation. Now that I'm in front of my computer, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open Microsoft Excel. So I go to the Start button here and browse the list of my application till I find Excel, this one, and just open it. Okay, on my computer here, I'm using Excel from Microsoft 365 subscription, as you can see here, Family Edition. Well, if you have something more or less recent, you should be able to do what we are doing in this video today. So if I go back to home, all right, like I said in my introduction, today we're going to learn how to create a data entry form in Excel using macros. So to start, I'm going to open a blank workbook. Okay, so now that I have my workbook open, allowed me to increase the zoom so that you can see my screen better. Okay, this should do. All right, so for this work today, we will need 3 sheets. One sheet will serve for our form design, and then a second sheet will serve for our drop-down menu list, and a third sheet will be used for our database table, like where the information will be stored. So allow me to quickly rename my sheet and we can start. So this one will be form, and this one will be list, and the last one will be database. Okay, perfect. Now that I've finished naming my sheet, I'm going to go back to the first one, form, and we can start the design of our form. I can start from here. So here I can first name, then I can put the last name here, then leave it some space, like where they will fill out, and the empty space to make it look nice. Then I can write department. So in this video I will be using the example of an office, okay, company. So I'll make a list of employees, like their first name, last name, the department they are working in, their position, their education, and the date they have entered the company. So starting date. Okay, perfect. So those will be my questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a header. So I'm going to just merge those cells, center them, and then I can use it for the header. Okay, so I'm calling it employee information form. Now I can put it. Perfect. All right, so now I'm just going to make sure that my form looks nice. So to do it, I'm just use this, and then and do the same thing for this one. Okay, and then I can pick any color. Just gonna browse and see something that I like. Okay, so maybe this one. Perfect. All right, and now I can go ahead and increase the column width, so that is easier to fill it in. I can just go here and maybe make it 30. Perfect. Now I can just make space for entering the data. So I just select the cells and then go to format and then change the color. I'll make it white so it's easier to fill in. Okay, and then I can also increase the size of the text to make it easily readable. Okay, I think this is good. And now do the same thing for the information section here. Okay, I think this looks fine. All right, I'm pretty much done with the design of my form. But as you see here, there is a department and then education. In these two boxes, I'm going to make a drop-down menu so that people can click on it and choose one. So to do it, I will need to create a list. So I'll go to my list sheet here and then make a new list. So I can call the first one department. Okay, and then under department I can list them. So maybe IT, HR, accounting, marketing, and maintenance. I mean, this is just an example, so if it's your company you will know what to write, but I'm just doing this just to show, so I can write anything really. Okay, perfect. and maybe I can also increase the size, get it to 30. Okay, now this is my list. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select all of it here except the header. No. And then I can go here to rename the list. Okay, so I'm just going to rename it here department. Okay, so I can also make my second list maybe here. Also format the column, make it also 30. And then I will refer to my form. So the list I made will be for this box here. So and I'll make another list for education. Okay, so I'll go back to my list and then education. Okay, and I can start with a high school diploma, college diploma, bachelor, master's, and a PhD. Okay, and now do the same thing. I will select them all. And then I can rename it here education. Enter. Okay, now that I've finished creating my list, I'll go back to my form, and then on the department, the first one, I'll go to, first I'll click the box, then I'll go to data, and then from data I'll go to data validation, this one, and then I can choose list, and then under source I'll press F3 on my keyboard to call in the list I created. So as you can see here, there's a department and education. Those are the two lists I created. So I'll then select the department, and then OK, again OK, and you see there will be a drop down menu next to department like this. So I can choose IT, HR, accounting, marketing, maintenance. Okay, perfect. And I'll do the same thing for education. So I drop my mouse under education, then again, and as I'm still under data, I'll go to data validation, and then select the list, and then under source F3, and then this time I'll pick education, and OK, and then again OK, and you should see that there will be a list of the options I put. So high school diploma, college diploma, bachelor, master's, and then a PhD. Okay, perfect. And here, as it's going to be a date, I'm going to also format this cell as a date. So I'll just go click right and then go to format cell and then choose date. I can choose dates. I can choose any format I want here, but I'll keep it on this one, which should be month, day, and then the year. So I press OK. All right, so once we finish, we're going to make a macro, and then we'll have a button here, so you can click, fill out the information, click on the button, and then the information should be stored in your database here. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go to the database sheet, and then copy this information, like all the header of my text boxes here, like first name, last name, department, position, education, starting date. I will copy this information onto my database table, okay, which will also serve as a header. So I'll start here with first name, then last name, then department, then position, then education, and I'll finish with the starting date. Perfect. All right, and I can also arrange the column so that it fits properly. So I'll put the same size as I did on the other side. Column width, and then I can make it 30. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set my work here as a table. So to do it, the first thing, I'll just select the cells like this. Then on the home tab, I'll just go to format as table, and then I can pick any one. Maybe I'll use this one. And then I will indicate that the first row is a header. So my table has a header, so I go like this. Okay, so I have my database table ready. So all the data that will be entering from this window will be posted here. Okay, but to start, I'm going to make one manually just to indicate to Excel that this is actually how I want my data to be posted. So I can start with John Brown, department IT, and a position system administrator. Education, bachelor. Okay, and then here too, I'm gonna format this column as a date. So just go to format cell, and then make sure I select date, and I'll keep the same format as the way I did it on the form. So I'll go okay. So it will be month, then day, then the year. Enter. Okay, perfect. So I finish my database table, I finish my list, and I finish my my form. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to record a macro, and the macro will record the information entered in this form and store it in my database table here. Okay, the best way to do it is first I'm going to fill it, and then enable macro, and then I will copy it, and while I'm copying it I will record it, and then after I can save the macro and then create a button and put the macro code under the button, so that next time you click on the button, then the macro will play itself. That's it. Okay, so here I can maybe write Monique, last name the boy, department marketing, position director, education, masters, starting date, month, day, and then the year 2015. Okay, all right, so this information will I'm gonna record a macro with this information, and when I finish, then next time someone enter the information like this and then press OK or send, the information will be sent straight to the database table. So to do it, I will look for the developer tab. Okay, and by default, Excel does not put the developer tab straight in your screen. So if you want to enable it, then you go to File, and then on the File you go to Options, and then under Options you go to Customize Ribbon, and then in this list you can look for developer, this one. So once I select developer, you will see that it will show on my ribbon app here. Okay, so that's what I will do. I'll just select developer and then press OK, and that's it. Okay, all right, so if I go to developer, I can see macro. As you can see here, record macro. So if I click record macro, everything I'm going to be doing from now on will be recorded until I come back and stop the recording. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start recording, and then I will explain to Excel that I want him to copy every single text box here and store it in my database sheet here. Okay, so to start, first I'm going to go to record macro, and then I will need to give my macro a name. So for this, the purpose of this video, I can just call it employee. Okay, and then okay. As you can see, the recording has started. So from this point on, everything I do on the screen will be recorded, and it can be played back later. What I'm going to do, I'm going to instruct Excel to copy this information and send it to my database. So first thing, I'll click here so that Excel knows that I'll be starting from here. So from here, I'll go to database, and then I'll instruct Excel to insert one row on top of the first entry. So here I'll just go to insert, and then a row. Okay, so Excel will then insert one row on top of the first entry. Then go back to my form and copy the data in every box and transfer it. So I just go to copy, and then go back to my database and then paste it. So I'm pasting it with a value. So this one is important. Okay, and then I go back to my form. I select the next box. I'll copy it. Then I'll go to my database. I'll paste it in the corresponding box here, again in value. And I'll go back to form. I will select copy to the database. I will paste it in the corresponding box. I'm going slowly so that if you're following me, we'll all be on the same page. All right, so select copy, then database, and then I'll place it in the corresponding box. And then again, form, select copy, then database, and I paste it the corresponding box again in value. And then form, select copy, and paste it on the database with the corresponding value. Okay, perfect. And then I'll go back to form. I can just stop my macro recording here. What I need to do is I'm going to instruct Excel again that once they finish copying and pasting the data, it can then clean the boxes. Clean the boxes and put the mouse back into the first box, so this one. Okay, so next time I make an entry, is going to copy to my database and then bring the mouse back into the first name box here. So I think it's ready, so I can just go ahead and stop the recording. Perfect, and that's it. So now I have finished. There is one more thing. I need to put a button here so that you can, once you finish entering the data, you can click on the button and then have the data transfer. So to do that, once I'm still in the developer tab, I'll just go to insert, and this time I'll select the button, this one, and then I can place it anywhere I want to have my button. So I think I can put it here. It doesn't matter which size you make it, so I like to have mine big so that it's easy to see. All right, and then I can, here they ask me for my macro name. So if you remember, when I made the macro, I named the employee, so that's one here, that's it here. So I just need to select it and then go OK, and by doing so, a link to my macro will be sent to the button. So next time I click on the button, then my macro will be executed. So I just go to OK, and that's it. Now here I can just rename my button. By default it's just called the button, so I can just click on it and rename it. I think I will just call mine enter. So when I finish entering the data, I just press enter and it's sent. Okay, all right, I can also format it and make it look nicer. So I just select it and then go to home, and then I can make it bold, and I can also increase the size. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so now I'm going to make another entry and then you will see. So as you can see so far, those are the two entries we have here. That's the first one I made, John Brown, and then I used the second one, Monique Du Bois, to show macro Excel what I need him to record in my macro. So that's the second entry. Now I can go back to the form, and as I have the button here, I can make another entry, press enter, and you will see how it will appear on the database. Okay, so I just go to first name, and then I can write Marcus Leroy, and department I can maybe choose accounting. Position director, again, is an example. So education, a bachelor degree, and then the starting date, the month, the day, and the year. Okay, so now that I have entered my information, if I press enter, it will then be copied here. So as you can see, there is only two entries. So if I go back and then I press enter, you will see that it's gone, and it's showing here Marcus Leroy. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then if I go back to my form, you see that the mouse is back in the first box. Okay, this looks fine. I mean, I can stop my work here, but there are a few things I can do to make it look even nicer. So the first thing I will do is I'll go to view, and then I will remove the grid lines. You see, so that looks a little neater. And I can do the same thing also under the database table. I'll remove the grid lines just to leave just the table. And then I go back to my form, and then here I'm going to make it in a way that only these text boxes can be accessible, and then everything else will be locked. Okay, so that you can click anywhere and make any modification. You can only click on the fillable boxes here. So to do it, I'll first select the fillable boxes, all of them. Then I go to format cell, and then protection, and then by default everything is locked, so I'm going to tell him to unlock those selected cells. So I'll check it and then press OK. Alright, so now those boxes are unlocked, and next thing I will do, I will go to review, and then under review I'll go to protect sheet, and by protecting the sheet everything else will be locked except those that I have unlocked on other side. So I just go to protect sheet, and then I will unselect the locked, leaving only select the unlocked cells, and then go to OK. Everything is locked except the fillable area. Okay, so that's it. I mean, so I can make another entry and you can see. So if I go to Jane, first name Jane, last name Austin, then with this, just by using the tab key on my keyboard, I can just move between cells there. Okay, and then I can, well, here I can select HR, and then position I can just say assistant. Again, that's an example. And education, I can just say college diploma, and then the entry date, I can again the month, the day, and then the year. Okay, and by pressing enter, this information will then be transferred to my database. So I just go to enter, and the mouse is back. Okay, and you see that's it, Jane Austen, HR assistant, college diploma, and the date, entry date. Okay, all right. And one more thing. Well, now that I finished this, clearly I don't need to have the list tab here, list sheet here anymore. I'm not going to delete it, but I can just hide it. Okay, so that no one else will go there and mess with it. Okay, so I'm just only left with forms and database. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much it. That's how you can create a data entry form in Excel using macros. Okay, the last thing before we go, once you finish your form like this and you tested it and everything looks fine, then you will need to save it. Okay, but you're not going to save it just like any other Excel sheet or Excel workbook. You are saving it as Excel workbook that handles macros. So to do that, you go to file, and then you go to save as, and then you can choose where you want to save it. I will just save mine on my desktop. And then I can call it again employees here. Okay, and the important thing is when you go to save as type, you don't just save it as Excel workbook. However, you click on it and then you select Excel macro enabled workbook. It's very important. So I'll click it and then I just go to save. Okay, so if I close this window completely and I go to my desktop, you see the document here. So I can open it, and now Again, this is Excel warning me that there is a macro in this document if I would like to enable it. So just say yes to enable the content, and that's it. Okay, so that's it. Now my document is again open, so I can go ahead and make one last entry so that you can see. Okay, so here I can call it Mario, and last name Jean, department marketing, and position director, education, masters, starting date. Okay, and then if I press enter like this, you see that everything is gone and the mouse went back to first name. And if I go to database, you will see that my last entry is here under Mario Jean. Okay, so that's it, my friends. This is how you can create a data entry form in Excel using macro. We are at the end of our video today, and I hope the way I was able to show you how to create a data entry form in Excel using macros, you found that useful. If that's the case, I'm asking you to share this video with others. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channels, please don't forget, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any of my upcoming video. Once again, I say thank you and see you next time.